Here it is, the species that doesn't have a name, but you are going to give it one. Jerry, is the camera person drunk? That's a rope. No, it's right there, bottom right. Anyway, we're off the coast of Japan, about 3.5 miles down, or 5,500 meters if you're into that, and we're at the bottom of the ocean. What you're watching here is the actual alien abduction that led to this species discovery. Look at this, they even got the claw out, and you know what? It's just as rigged as the one in Chuck E. Cheese. See? Need another token. From here, the specimens were taken to a lab in Frankfurt. They'd always wanted to go, and they were described. And I don't mean described like, that looks like Poseidon's codpiece. Looks like an armadillo's toupee. It's a weaponized croissant. No, what I mean is that science hippies at Senckenberg Ocean Species Alliance documented all the bits and bobs of this thing to make sure that it was a new species. Then they wrote that all up in a paper, which they're going to publish as soon as you give it a name. Now to do that, I suppose it would be good for you to know what it is. Well, it's a newly discovered chitin, which is a type of mollusk, distantly related to things like clams and snails. Chitins have a shell, but it's divided into 8 separate plates. They call them valves, whatever. These plates are attached to this sort of muscular overcoat called a girdle. If you flip them over to the mushy bits, you can see the girdle hanging over on the outside. The main body, though, is in here, the foot. You got a pooper in the back, and then this puckering orifice is the mouth. Doesn't look like much, but inside the mouth is this flexible sheet with rows of iron-reinforced teeth on it called a radula. Now, this overall body plan is quite good at attaching to things, and for a lot of chitins, that means rocks. Those plates give them some protection, but because they're separate, they're bendy-bendy, so they can kind of mold themselves to uneven surfaces while they use their radula to scrape and eat algae. Some other species use that bendiness in a different way. Oh, that's embarrassing. Well, now that you're asking, yes, this one was named after me. Crispetochiton zefranchi, just rolls off the tongue. And now I am their god. It was described by the wonderful Cassia von Sina, also at Senckenberg. My chitin is part of a group of flesh-eating chitins like this one. Can you see it? It's not that one. That's a lunch. It's up here, backed itself into a crevice and made a tent out of its girdle. If something touches its foot with its spread-out toesies, the girdle drops, and it becomes a tent of death. So be careful, I can summon them. The species that you're going to name is more of a vegetarian. It eats wood, and you might be thinking, interesting choice for something that lives in the depths of the ocean. But there is quite a bit of wood that falls to the seafloor, and someone's got to eat it. Now, your species was described by Dr. Julia Sigwart, and she took a lot of images of it to inspire you. All right, at this point, I feel like I need to address the worms. You see, chitins in the genus Ferreraella, like yours, have worms that live on their butt, which is a great place to live if you happen to eat things that come out of a butt. Think of them as pets you don't have to worry about feeding. Now, one thing that makes your species unique in the genus is that its last plate or tail is very small, less real estate for the worms. Another thing that makes it unique has to do with these microscopic pores that chitins have on their plates, called aesthetes. These pores open up to channels which house the largest sensory organ of the chitin, and this allows them to sort of smell or taste the water. Here you can see that organ sticking out of the pores like little finger tongues. Now the way that the pores are arranged is probably important. You can see on Ferreraella carizata, they've got a big one and then around 6 little ones arranged into cute rows. Your species, not so much. It looks like a rush job someone did with a toothpick, but maybe it inspires you. Okay, here's how names work. The name comes in 2 parts, a genus name and a species name. Yes, this bird's really called that, and it has no idea. The names are usually in Latin and they mean something. For a house cat, the genus is Felis, which means cat in Latin, and the species is Domesticus because they're domesticated. I mean, they might disagree. So in your case, the genus is Ferreraella, and you need to come up with the species name. Now, your name could reference what it looks like. For example, Formica rufa, where Formica means ant and rufa means red. It could be about its location or habitat, like Crocodylus niloticus, which can be found in the Nile. You could name it after a person, but not the person who described it, and not me. I'm not allowed to have 2, even though Attenborough has like 50. You could also name it after a threat or a larger issue, like Erythenus plasticus, because they found some plastic crap in its tum-tums. Now, if you don't know Latin, you can describe it in English words. Like in this case, if you wanted long-winged, the science hippies can make it into a single Latinized word. Shush now, penis means wing. Just a word of caution, if you go for worm butt, that's true of all the chitins in Ferreraella. So you might have to get a bit more creative. So, to submit a name, leave it in the comments and please write a sentence or 2 about why you think it's a suitable name. You can do this anytime over the next week, ending on the 2nd of February. Then a number of science hippies will help with the judging, but the final say will come from Dr. Julia Sigwart. On February the 6th, I'll release a short announcing the winner, and on that same day, the paper will be published with your species name. And if I can track you down, I'll also send you a 3D printed model of the species to put on your shelf. Now get to it. No, Jerry, I said go to the right. What do you mean my right? There's only one right but looking at a picture. If I was facing the other... You mean like if the screen was behind me? That's what you thought. You thought I had my back to the screen and I was telling you to go to the right. No, it's not complicated, Jerry. It's a joystick. What are you using your mouth? Jerry.